everyone. My name is Brayton Osborne. Today we're going to talk about Fibrillin-1. Notes already on the board because we got to run through this. And any references to style of lecture or clothing choice is totally not ripping off our professor. So, kind of general, what is Fibrillin-1? It's a protein you see on screen right now. Very beta sheet heavy. You can't see it, but there are very dense cysteine regions which are mainly responsible for its tertiary structure, a microfibril, that form integral disulfide bonds. So, generally, what is Fibrillin-1? Kind of some basics on it. It's encoded by the FBN1 gene, which, when fully translated, creates profibrillin, which is cut to make Fibrillin-1. So, in general scale, what we're talking about here, the Fibrillin-1 protein is 320 kilodaltons and 2,831 amino acids long. So, its function, I kind of alluded to it before, it mainly revolves around the microfibril, which is integral in the creation of elastic fibers. So you kind of see here that it forms almost just a bead and chain-esque structure, almost like a Mardi Gras necklace. So you can kind of see the bead, wire, bead, wire, bead, wire. And elastic kind of fills up the areas around it to create elastic fiber. And another big feature of these microfibrils is they hold a growth factor. Specifically, the one we're going to talk about today is TGF beta. But kind of go back and give you a little bit of a visual of what I'm talking about when I say these elastic fibers, a little cartoony representation of it. Microfibrils, the elastin kind of filling in the middle to make the full elastic fiber. But if anyone here can name who this pitcher is, kudos to you. I had to look him up. It's a former St. Louis Cardinals pitcher in the late 90s called Darryl Kyle. And he had a dysfunction in his FBN1 gene, which caused a disease known as Marfan syndrome. Marfan syndrome is a type of fibrillinopathy, basically saying some kind of mutation and dysfunction in the FBN1 gene. So Marfan syndrome specifically leads to too much TGF beta in the surrounding tissue because the Fibrillin-1 cannot actually bind to TGF beta anymore and hold on to it. So the reason this really causes some dysfunction is TGF beta is an upregulator of elastase, which breaks down elastin, which breaks down these elastic fibers. So it leads to very rigid, very inflexible connective tissues. And the big characteristics, if you want to see someone with Marfan syndrome, sometimes you can't really see them that much, but if you do, you have long and narrow face, very long and spindly fingers, and 60% of people also have scoliosis. And the symptoms were associated with this, some headaches, arrhythmia. The worst one is aortic dissection. If someone has Marfan syndrome, they have a 250 times the likelihood to have an aortic dissection. And unfortunately, for someone like Darryl Kyle, that's unfortunately what happened to him. So thank you again. It's been Fibrillin-1.